Okay, now today we will start, which is one of the very important lesson in Python, which is we call as a file IO operation. That is, here we discuss how you can write the program to have some interaction with the files using a Python program. We know in computer files are used to store some data. Maybe we have different type of files. Some of them are text file, some of them are images, some of them are document, some of them are video files, some of them are executable file. Like, remember, we have different files in our computer storage. Mainly, we store these state files in the hard disk, or maybe we store these files in the pen drive, or maybe we can store the files in your CD, DVD. Like, you can store the different type of files in different storages. Now, here we are going to discuss how you can write some programs to make the interaction with these files. So we know inside this hard disk, we can store these different type of files. Now, when you take the files, they may be having different structure. When you take the document, it has its own structure. When you take an image, it has a different structure. If you take an audio file, it has another structure. If you take the video file, it has another structure. Like, remember, the different files are having different structures. Now, here we discussed how you can make some interaction with the text file, where we want to do some reading and writing operations. Basically, here actually what we are going to do is we are going to write some programs. Basically, I would write some programs. Now, we may have some programs. Let's say we have a program we write a program in Python. Assume here we have a program in Python. So we have here, let's say we have some program. Now we have Python program here. Now, what we are going to do here is that using this Python program, we are going to interact with the file. So we have a file here. Mainly here we discuss about the text file. We have a file here. So what we are going to do is through this program, we are going to write some data to this file. So we use some techniques or methods to write some data through this file. What you can do is you can write some data to this file. We can write some data to this file, as well as we can read some data from the file. That is what we're going to study here. We are going to write some data to this file. At the same time, we want to read some data from the file. That is what we're going to do here. That is, we use some methods available. Using your Python program, we can write some data. We can write some data to this file, as well as we can read some data. We can read some data from the file. That is what we're going to do here. So we developed application or Python program to do the reading and writing. That's what we're going to study here. So you may just write some programs to read some data and write some data to the files. So that is what we're going to discuss here. So now in this Python, remember to do this reading and writing to the files. Now, when you take these files, all the files are stored data in the binary. Remember, all the data inside the computer will be stored as a binary. So maybe they are in the image, maybe a sound file, or whatever the things which will be stored in the computer as a binary. So which is only 1-0 values. However, when you have this binary values now inside the file, the data is in the binary format. That is here. When you take these files, remember, if this is the file, so inside this file, the data is stored in the binary format. So if you take this file, now let's say this is the file. Now remember, in this file, so everything is stored in a binary. So inside this file, what we can see, you can see this 1-0 pattern, nothing else. Like this. So inside the file, your data look like this. It may be an image, it may be a video file, it may be executable file, it may be a document. Like, remember, everything inside the computer is a binary like this. So when you take these files, we can categorize these files mainly into two types of files, which we call as a text file and the binary files. So in the text file, what happened, when you open the file, you can see some text. Now, let's say this is the file, which is stored in the hard disk. Now, let's say this file is stored in the hard disk. When this file is stored in the hard disk, it will be stored in 1-0 format. Let's say this is the hard disk. In the hard disk, this file is stored in 1-0 format. Hard disk or whatever the storage. It will be stored in the 1-0 format inside the storage. But once you open this file, remember, when you open this file, remember, what happened, you may able to see some characters like this. Something like this. When you open it, you can see some characters. Readable characters are there, which we called as text file, So then once you open, if you can see the characters, which are readable format, which we called as a text file. Which we call as a text file. But remember, once you open the file, some instance, you will get, just give me a second. Sorry. Now remember, when you take this file, inside the file, your data is stored in the 1.0 format. And when you open the file, remember, you may get some file where the characters are readable format. Then we call them as a text file. But when you open the file, if you get characters which are unreadable format, some other characters, so which is we call as a binary file. The binary files are the files which are executed by the computer or CPU. So remember, all the files inside the hard disk are 1.0 patterns. But when you open the file, some files open with some characters which are readable format. But binary files, when you open it, you get some unreadable characters. So that is the main difference between the text file and the binary file. So therefore, here actually, how do they convert? Now in a conversion to text file, binary format to text file conversion is done by the codes. So we have learned that previously we have different codes. Now here this conversion is done with the codes. We have the ASCII code, which is initially 7 bits, now it is 8 bits. ASCII codes. In ASCII codes, what happened? Each character is given a number, like capital A. Capital A has a code, which is equal to 65. That is basically 65 means 0, 1, 1, like this. Yeah, something like this. So in ASCII, what happened? Each character has given a code. And if you take the B is given another code. Like this. So then what happened? For each character, there's a code. By using that, conversions can be done. But nowadays, we are using Unicode. Unicode, because which can work with the different languages, because ASCII normally for English language, but Unicode is 16 bits, which can work with any language in the world. So therefore, when it is opening, when it is open this binary file, when it is opening, what happened? When the file is open, it has to use these codes. Based on the codes, file will be open. So here basically I have drawn this one to indicate what happened when the file is open. Using the open system call. Now we'll discuss that one here today. So by using this open system call, when you open the file, when you open the file, what happened? It will be using the codes. Based on the codes, the file will be open. So in that case, when it is opening, it will be using the code. And then based on that, the file will be open. The characters will be identified by using the codes. Now in here, what we want to learn here, when I store in this data inside the file, and when you open this file again, we need to remember we have a very special character which we call as a new line character, which is very important to us. So in a file, we have a special character, this one. This one. So this one we call as a new line character. New line character. Now, what is the purpose of this new line character? So the understanding this new line character is very important, because most of the time when you are going to interact with the files, this is very useful. Now, if you take the example, now when you take this file, now here, if you take this file, now here some data is stored. Now here, this is a code. A is this one, B is this one, like we have a code. Now, if you take the file, now as an example, so assume we have used this code, ASCII code is used. Assume we are using this ASCII code. So if you are using the ASCII code, if it's ASCII code, something like this, A is this one, B is this one, now the C is next character, which is 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. That is the ASCII code. For this increase the font size. Now these are the, I just take only 3 characters, ABC, assume they have the ABC. So those are the codes for A, B, and C in ASCII. But Unicode has 16 bits. But for the moment we just used as an example, we are using only 3 characters ABC in the file, which has A, B, and C characters. We are using these characters. Now we can take the file. Now let's say this is our file, text file. We can take this text file, and this text file, assume we store this, that is, we store the first line is AB. So I just increase the font size here again. Let's say first line you have the AB, Second line we have the CA. Third line we have the BC, something like that. Now here we have a file. This file has only 3 lines. We have a text file. So this text file has only 3 lines of codes. Sorry, 3 lines of text. This is a text file we have. So this text file has only 3 lines, A, B, C, A, and ABC. Now, when you take the binary conversion of this, we need to store this in the hard disk. So in storing this in the hard disk, we can see here, if you just take the character, now the first one is A. First line is A. And second line is a B. So then you can see A is which one? A is 0, 1, 0, 0. So it has the 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. That is the A. Then you can see next one is B. Next one is B. What is a B? B is 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. That's a B. What is the next character in the file? Next character is C. So next character C, what is C? Pattern is 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. That is the C. And next one is A. You can see A, B, C, A. A means again the first one. 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Yeah, that is the A. Then you can see so then the next one is so next character is again B. So what is the B? 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Finally C again. That is 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. That is C. Then you can see this is A. And this is which one? This is B. This is C. And this is A. And this is B. And this is C. Like these are the characters. Now inside the storage, these characters, binary corresponding value is stored like this. This will be stored like this. So inside the storage, data will be stored like this. So however, when this file is open, when this file is stored, we can store like this. However, when we are opening this file, you can see there is a issue, that is now this A is stored like this and the B is stored like this, and this C that is stored like this, and next A will be stored like this, and next B is this one, and next is this one. So that way the data will be stored in the storage. When it is stored in the storage, remember there is no gap like this. Now I have just keep the gaps like this for you to understand the character, each one. When you store in the storage, there is no gaps like this because we know this is 8 bits. This 8 bits. Now the thing is, now this is how the file is stored in the storage. This is how the file is stored in the storage. So if you take this, now this is how your file is stored in the storage. Now you need to think, when the user open the files, what happened? This is how the file will be stored in the storage. So your data will be stored in the storage like this. But once you store this data in the file, when you're opening the file, we need to think some additional parts, like now the file is stored like this. File is stored like this in the storage. Now I have a file stored in the storage like this. So when you're opening this, first one is A, second one is B, third one is C, and fourth one A, like that. Now, when you open that file and we want to read each character one by one. So now initially this is empty, nothing is there. So it takes the first character, identify the first one is A. So then in the file, it will identify as, this will be identified as A. Therefore, first will display as A. The next character identifies as a B, therefore display as B. So first one is identified as A, next one is identified as a B, next one is identified as a C, next one is A, next one is B, next one is C, like that. So you can see initially first character is A, second one is B, third one is C, fourth one is A, next one is B, last one is C. But actually we have stored not that one. We have stored first line AB, second line CA, third one is BC. But if you just store each character mapped into the binary codes, and if you just store in the storage like this, when you're opening it later, it looks like this. But you can easily understand this is wrong, because this is not the things you have stored in the memory. Then what we need to store, remember when I store in this, we need to store the additional character. That is what I want to explain here. This one, \n. So which is equal as a new line character. It's a special character, which indicates we are going to start the new line after this. Whenever we receive this one, when the file is reading, whenever you notice this, you understand you have to go to the new line. That is what we call the new line character. Therefore, remember when you store in this one, when you store in this in the storage, what happened? Now the first line is AB. Then what's the next one? Next one is CA. But the CA start with the new line. So therefore, since it started the new line, we have to use this special character, new line character. Should be placed there. So therefore, we need to put the new line character here. So after the AB, we have to put this line, new line character. Then first one is AB, then the CA should go to the new line. That's the new line character. New line character should be added here. Because in storage, you store numbers in together. And after CA, you can see after C and A, what happened? BC should come to the next line. Therefore, here also it have the new line character. It has the new line character, which indicates next two lines should go to the new line. So when it comes to here, what happened? You read this one, and then you have the new line character. And here also what happened in the new line character. So then what happened? You read the first two bytes. And you read the first two bytes, and then you identify it is A and B. And then you have a new line character. Then you understand next should go to the next line, new line character. Therefore, this will go to the next line, C as CA. And then after CA, then you identify the next, go to the next line, like that. So this new line character indicates these lines should go to the new lines. So AB is in the first line, and CA in the next line, B is in the next line, like that. Is that clear, what I have explained to you?
Yes, sir.
What is the purpose of the new line character? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
When you're opening the file, you identify this is the first line, and you have the new line. Therefore, CA should go to the new line. Then again, new line, BC should go to the new line, like that. Then this will go to the first line. Next one go to the new line. And next one also go to the new line, like that. So that is the purpose of the new line character. Anyone has doubts? Okay, then let's see how you can do this read-write operation in the files. Now, to do the reading and the writing in the files, remember, you can't do any reading and the writing of the file without opening the files. So therefore, whenever you want to do any reading and writing with the file, first thing you need to do is opening the file. First, you should open the file. After open the file, you can do the read-write operations. Now, to open the file, there's a system call name as open. Open. That means operating system function is there. What is the name of it? Open. Name is open. Now, for this function, we need to pass the two parameters. What are the two parameters? First one is the file name that you want to open. Name of the file that you want to open. That's the first parameter. The second parameter is access mode. Access mode. What is mean by the access mode? That is the one which indicates what operations you are going to perform with the file. So if you are opening a file only for reading, you have to make the access mode as R, this one. And if you are opening a file which is for writing, in that case, it creates a new file if that file does not exist. Then you have to put the W. So R means you're opening a file for reading. W means you're opening the file for writing. RB means you're opening a binary file for reading. WB means you're opening a binary file for writing. If you are using the R+, in that case, that file can be both read and write. Both read and write can be done if you put the R+. And if you put the RB+, that means you're opening a binary file, both reading and writing. If you have the W+, then again you are opening a file for both reading and writing. And WB+, that is opening a file, binary file for both read and writing. And if you use A, here, this one, that is to append the data to the file. That means that file already we have some data, but you want to add something to that file. That is called the appending. So for that purpose, you can use the A. So those are some other operations are there, but mainly you need to remember read, write, R plus A. Those are the main things you need to remember. So this is an example. So we need to use the open system call and the file name that you want to open. The mode, remember it should be in the quotation marks. In the quotation marks you need to open. Whether you're going to do the reading or writing. Now here we just look at the example. We have some data in the text file and we want to do some reading operations. And remember, once you open the file, the open file can be interacted with the return value. So here, this example, we are opening a text file that is open for reading. And this is we call as a file pointer. Which is equal as a file pointer, or sometimes we call as a file descriptor. File descriptor. With that, we can do different operations in the file. So here, we are using, there's a system called name as a read. Read. The read is used to read the content on the file. File.read. What is this value? 1. What's the value of 1? 1 means we are going to read only first byte, the first character. That is why here it displays only the first character, L. This one is saying to read the 2 characters. There are 2 characters. This one say to read the 3 characters because he's spacing also 1 character. Then you get 1, 2, 3. 3 characters. So we'll take the example and see whether they are working. So initially, we use the text file. We will create a text file first. So I just go to the desktop and then, no, just go to the Here I just create the text file, new text file. So let's say I just give the name as ICT. ICT.txt. File name is ICT.txt. And here I just enter some characters here. So now we have text file. So I just enter some characters here. ICT A level and 2021. So those are the characters I have entered to the text file. Now text file name is ICT.txt. So these are the characters I have entered. So this is a text file, and this text file we have, first line we have this ICT A level, next line we have this. 2 lines are there. Now I want to read this data from my Python program. For that I can use a read. So I just go to the Python. I just open the new file, and then to open the file, we need to use a system called name as open. Open. It's a function. Therefore, you have the bracket. Function always have the brackets. And then to open the file, first you have to give the file name. What is the file name? ICT.txt. That's the file name. And we are opening this file. We are opening this file for reading. I'm opening this file for reading. R. And then here I can get the file pointer. I just use that as F, or you can use any letter, doesn't matter. Whatever you like, you can give. I just give the F. You can use any letter to identify it. And then I can use this print method to print the characters which are read from the file. Now the file is identified by the F. F is a file pointer. Through that, we can identify the open file. So there's a method which you can call with F. We have a method which is what we call the read method. Read method. You can call the read method. Read method. I just put the value 2. Value 2. So I just read the 2 characters and print that. Now remember, after finished, always you have to close the file. Close the file. After finish, you have to close the file. And remember, this Python program and the text file should be in the same location. So I have just taken that file, text file is here. My text file is here. So I just write here test.py Python. And then I can just run it. Why it is not right? Maybe because of Sorry, because I have not saved that one actually. I have to save this one. Yeah, you can see it read the first two characters, I see. Because my text file, in this text file we have. So in this text file, you can see I'm just calling to this file. And here you can see, here I'm calling read to. Read how many characters? 2 characters. Therefore, it read the 2 characters, these 2. That is how you get the output as IC. IC. So if I just modify it, let's say, I just modify this to 3 characters and just save this one and just run it. Now you can see it gets a 3 characters, first 3 characters, ICT. Then I just modify this. So I just modify this one, let's say, yeah, I just modify the program to read 7 characters. 7 characters. Now, can you tell me what is the output? I just modify to read the 7 characters. What is the output you get?
ICT A level 20.
So I'm asking to read the 7 characters. Then you can see if it is 7 characters, this is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
That's the 7 characters. Now, I just save this one and run it. But you can see what's the output I got. 1, 2,
Yes, sir.
3, 4, 5, 6. Why it is 6? I requested 7. Why it is 6? I have requested to read the 7 characters. Yes, very good. What is the reason? That's a place you need to remember that new line character. Because when I store in this in the actual storage, what happened? After this one, what do you get? You get this one, new line character. New line character. Therefore, then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And including this one is 6. And this one is 7. That is how you get the output like this. The new line character also understand as a character. 1 character. Is that clear? The purpose of new line character.
Yes, sir.
Here you don't see the new line character, but it is there in the storage. New line character is in this storage. That is why when you ask to read 7 characters, this is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. The next one is a new line character, 6th one and 7th one. That is how you get the, when you ask to read 7, you get only this part only, 6 characters. Why is that? In the storage, we have another character new line character is there. So you have to keep in mind that the purpose of the new line character. However, remember in our program, if you don't put any number, remember entire thing will be red. Entire thing will be red. So if you don't put a number, if you just say read, it reads the entire file like this. You get the output like this. It reads the entire file. So that is what we call read system call, which will read the character by character or which will read the entire file. See, if you want to read the entire file, no need to give a number. Just call the read method. However, if you want to read only one line, remember, there's a system called as a read line. Read line will read only one line. So if you just run this, remember, this will read only the first line. So it reads on the first line, ICT level. That's the first line. If you call the read line again, it will read the second line. So that is the purpose of the read line function. Read line function reads only one line. That's what we call the read line system call, which reads only the each line. So like in here, I have given this note. Just refer that. You should be able to understand what is done by these methods. And always you need to close the file. Once you finish the work, you have to close the file. The read line example also there. You can see it read the lines one by one. So this was I have given in the note. You can just refer that. I have already shared this book. You can just refer that. So then that's the read and the read line system call. And then in Python, when you're working with the files, there are two other functions, library functions. There are two library functions, which we call as a strip and the split method. These two are very important functions when you're working with the files. Strip method and the split method. Both you should understand, especially the MCQ questions. You need to know the purpose of these two. So basically, strip function is used to strip. Strip means from the beginning of the text and the end of the text, some characters or some spacing can be removed. As an example, assume, yeah, I'll explain that one. Now assume I have a string. I have a string like this. I have a string like this, S. I have a string like this. Now let's say I have some spacing at the beginning. Like this. Now this is string. This is string. So this is string, remember. Yeah, I'll send it. Now here in this string, what happened? At the beginning, you can see there's a space. At the end also there's a space. Some spacings are there. How do I remove this spacing from the string? For that one, we can use the very simple method, which we call as a strip method. Strip method. You can call the strip method this one. It's a method of function. Function always have the bracket. Remember, if it is a function, always brackets are compulsory. Strip method. Now, this strip method is used to remove the spacing from the beginning and the end. Can you see that? Now here you can see there are spacing at the beginning, at the end. But here you can see no spacing at the beginning and the end, like that. Therefore, strip method is used to remove the spacing from the beginning and the end of the string. That's the strip method. However, the spacing in the middle will not be deleted. Here there are spacing, but those will not be deleted. Remember, the strip methods delete the spacing from the beginning and the end. That's the purpose of the strip method. However, this method can be used not only delete the string spacing, some other special characters also you can remove. Now assume I have a string like this. Now, here I have a string. What's the string T? T is this one. Now, in this string T, you can see at the beginning we have some characters at sign. At the end also I have that. It's the same, I want to delete it. I will delete it. So you can call this strip method. However, I have to specify what to delete. Let's I will do that sign. Now see what happened. You can see from the beginning and the end at sign is deleted. Here we have the set. Here also we have the same thing. But that was deleted now. It's not coming now. But in the middle it will be there. Middle one is there. That is not deleted. However, remember when you do these changes, the T will not be changed. T will not be changed because you have studied strings are immutable. Strings cannot be changed. It will be updated and stored as a new string. The original string will not be changed. Original T will not be changed. Because that is the rule for the string. Strings are immutable. Content cannot be changed. However, you can create a new string. Like you can write P equals T dot strip and remove that sign. In this case, T will not be changed, but P will be updated with the new one like this. Is that clear? The purpose of the strip method? So strip method is to remove the spacing in default, or you can remove some special characters from the beginning and the end of the string. That is the purpose of the string. Strip method. Then the next one is the split method. Split method is to create a list. Now as an example, I have a string like this. Like this, I have a string. And this is string I have. Now I want to get each component separately. Each word, I want to get each word there. So how do I get the each word in this sentence? That can be done easily by using the split method. You can call the split method. So you can see this word, first word is this one. Second word is this one. Third word is this one. Fourth word is this one. Like you can take word by word. Because some instance we need to do that. Now in some exam questions, remember some instance you will be given something like this. I just give the example. Some instance they will give something like this. Sometimes they will say, they will give a string like this. The string is this. Then what do they ask? They ask to get the total sum of this. Sum of this. Now they will say these are the marks for the one students for one different subjects. And they ask to calculate the average. Then I need to access to each mark separately. Then you have to do the addition. So how do I do that? In that case, I need to get the each mark separately, one by one, from the string. Because they have given, when you store this data in the storage, once you are reading, it will be coming normally as a text file or strings. So you need to get the each one separately. Then what you can do is, you can say L equals S dot, you can split it. When you do this, what happened now, it will be separated like this. Now I have the marks separately. Now I can access to the each mark separately. L dot 0, first one. Then the L dot 1, 76, like that. But still, I can't do the addition. Because if you add the L dot 0 plus L dot 1, sorry. Can you tell me what is the answer? L0 plus L1, what is the answer I get? Anyone? What is the answer you get? Carefully, you have to look at the question. When I add those two, what do I get? L0 plus L1. Now remember, L0, L1 are not numbers. They are not numbers. That's what I told you to carefully look at. L0, L1 are not numbers. They are actually characters. They are strings actually. They are strings. So when you do the addition, remember it won't be added. This answer you get. They are string addition, which is what we call the concatenations. That won't be added. Then how do I add this? How do I get the total? Because it won't be added like this. So remember, before do the addition, we need to convert them into integer or float. So how do you do that? You can use int function like this, plus int function to convert in integer like this. Now you can see it works. Now it is addition. Or we can use the plot function. Plot function. Plot. Plot function. Then you get the answer. Do I get the same answer? Do I get the different answer?
Same answer, sir.
Yeah, same answer, but remember it is a plot. Therefore, you get the decimal point is coming then. That is only difference. You get the number with decimal points. Those very smaller thin, you can see the exam paper. These kind of questions are there. Therefore, you need to understand purpose of each functions. These kind of things are there actually in the exam paper. So then you have understood the purpose of the each function. It's strip method and split method. Split method is to create a list. Strip method is to remove the spacing from the beginning and the end of the sentence. But the split method is to convert into a separate convert into a separate word by creating a list. Now here, remember, here separation is done by the spacing. But some instance, you may get the strings like this. You may strings like this. Some instance, you may get strings like this. Let's say 2021, 9th, 3. Time is 9:51 times. So if you get the input like this, S is this one. That is the year, month, date, hours, and the minutes. I want to get separately each one. I want to get what is the year, what is the month, what's the date, what is the time, like you want to get separately. How do you do that? Then you have to write S dot, same split method should be used. Split method should be used. However, now you have to separate this one by, now yes, you have to separate by what? Now to separate by colon. Separate by colon, this one. You have to separate by colon. So you can see, I now get each one separate by colon. So you get the year, month, date, hours, and minutes separate, like this. In default, it is separated by spacing, but you can put a special character to make the separation and create a list. Here we separate by the colon. Here we have the colon, like this. Is that clear? The split method?
Yes, sir.
Because these things are very, we need those information. Okay, that's what I have to explain. These two methods are very important in these file operations. So that is a strip method and the split method. So I have just explained the methods. And again, you can see I give some example. You can just read that one and then try to understand. The one I have explained, same thing is there actually. So let's see one example here. Yeah. And one thing I want to explain here is that if you want, you can see what is this F also actually. So this is that actually. If it's a file pointer, which is used to identify the file. That is what you get when you print F. F is this one. Okay, now let's take one example and then see how you can do some work with that file. That is basically, we want to read some data from the file, and then we want to do some work on this with this file. So we'll take the example. Now let's say, now these are, I'm just taking some example or some questions which are there in the past papers. Now one paper they gave you something like this. They have given names and the marks for subjects like this, 3 subjects. Something like this. Like this. What they have done is they gave a file like this. This file contains 3 students, marks for 3 subjects. And the question was, for each students, calculate the average marks for these 3 subjects. Calculate the average marks. So how do you do that? So then you have to read each line one by one. We can read each line one by one and then separate the name and the marks and then do the addition, and convert into integer, do the addition and divide by 3. So what you need to do, read the first line, separate the marks one by one and take the convert into integer, get the total, divide by 3. That will give you the average value. So that was the question. So how do you do that? Let's see how to do it. So now the same file is the same file. This one I just saved that one, icd.text file. So same file we are opening for reading. However, we want to read each line. Now let's read the first line. Now this will read the first line. So I don't need to print the, if you want to, I can print the first line. Now this will read the first line. So if you run this one, so it will read the first line. First line is this one, Nimal and 3 marks. It reads the first line because I just call the read line method. So it will read the first line. Now what I want to do here is that I want to split. Now this is what I get. This is what I get. I want to split this and get the marks separately and convert in integer. For that, I use a split method. This is split method. So for that one, I just call this as S. S is equal to this one. I just write S is equal to this. Then I just print the S here. When I print the S here, then it will print the first line will be printed. However, I want to create this into a list. I want to create a list. For that one, I have to call the S dot split method, which will split this into a list. The string is split into a list. Then I will print that also. Print L. Then you can see what are the outputs I will get now. Now you can see this is the first line. This is the first line of the file. Now I have split. I have the name separately, marks separately. So that's what I want. Then I want to get the average. How do you do that? That's very easy. How do you get the average? So that can be calculated. I just say Avg average. How do I calculate it? Take the first one, but you have to convert it integer. Integer L0. First. So not the first one. Why? First one is a name. Therefore, we have to go to the next one. 1 plus integer L2 second marks plus integer third marks L3. Like now I get the average. Then I will divide this one by 3. Then I get the average marks. Then I can print average, Avg. I can print the average marks. So I just save this and then run. So you can see I got the average here. That's average mark. So if I change the original file to check the average, let's say we use some other numbers. Let's say 80. To check our answers are correct, let's say another one also 60. Then 80 plus 620, I just say 40. Then 180. 80 plus 60 plus 40 means 180 divided by 3 is a 60. We can check if the answer is correct. Save the file. And then I can just run this one again. Then I should get the answer 60. Yes, it is correct. Now you can see the 60. Like this. So that way you can find the average marks. So these three were separated, converted into integer, and then divide by 3. That gives the average. So we take each, divide by 3. But however, this is only for the first line. This is for the first line. But this file has 3 lines. Then I have to do the same thing for the other 2 students also. Then what? One thing is you can copy and paste again. Do this one for the second students. And you can copy and paste for the third students. That can be done. That's okay. But the 3 students you can do like that. Assume You have a text file with the 10,000 students. Then are you going to copy and paste for 10,000 times? No, that cannot be done. That will be wasting your time. So that is a situation we can use a loop. You can read this line by line until you come to the end. Therefore, that is a place where you can use a loop, which you can run until you come to the end. Therefore, this can be done in the loop easily. So we can use a for. We can take each line. Let's say L, each line, for a line in which one F. That is from the file, you can take each line one by one. And then what you can do, is, now what we are reading each line one by one. This for loop will read each line one by one from the file. And this line is not necessary. It will read each line one by one for loop. So what we have to do is you need to not test here. We have to call this as a line. For each line, we have to split. And then calculate the average. And then you can print the S, not the S, we can print the line. You can print each line. And you can print each values like this. So here the advantage is this loop runs until the file is ended. Even there are 10,000 students, no matter. So if I just save this, and if I just run it, you can see this is for C students, calculate the average. The second students, calculate the average. This third students, calculate the average, like that. So even there are 10,000 students, doesn't matter. It does the same thing. So then you can see that that's the advantage of the loop. We are reading each line one by one from the file. Doesn't matter how many students are there in the file. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is the way you need to read the data from the file and do some manipulations. Then the next one is the writing to a file. Now this is for the reading. Now I want to write to a file this data. So here we have some example given to do the writing operation. So this is example. This example, what happened in this example? We are opening one file which is for reading. We are opening another file for writing. You are opening one file for reading, other one for writing. And then from the first file, we read each line one by one and split. Just like earlier, we convert them into float and do the addition. Then for the second file, we have opened the second file. For the second file, we are writing. For the second file. So we are writing the first one, name and the total, both are writing. Then after finish, you have to close the file. Now let's do it. Now, if you go to this here, you can see in here, in this folder, only text file is this one, no any other text files. This is the Python code that you have written. This is a Python file, this is a text file. No any other text files available here. Only this is the text file here, ict.txt. Only that is the file we have. No any other files. Now, we just create a new file. That is, let's say we just take that as a file 1, and we are opening another file for what operation? Writing operation. For that one, I just say result.txt, and we are opening that file for writing. That's a file, another file. So that is referred as a F1. Previous one is F. We are opening that file. For writing operation. So then what happened? Now we read this data. We are reading this data from this file. That is the name and the marks we are reading. And then here we are calculating the average and other things. So I just erase this one. This is not necessary. That is only for printing. Now what I will do is I want to calculate this average, and then I want to write this into the file one, next file, this result.txt, this file. So from this file, I am reading the name and the marks and calculate the average. I want to write the average marks to the second file, that is result.txt file. So how do you do that? We call the file 1. File 1 means the file open for writing operation. And you have a method called as a write. Using this method, we can write. So what you are going to write? We are going to write, first we are going to write the name of the students. Name the student, which is his string. And keep some space. And then you are going to write the marks, which is integer. Marks, which is integer. And then you have to get these values. First, I want to take the name. Name is which one? L0. L0 is the name. Second one is the average, Avg. Then I just write it to the file. So after finished, I want to close the file. Second file also will be closed. You can see at the moment in my folder, there is no such file name as a result. This file is not there in the folder because this folder doesn't have something like that. There is no such file here in this folder. So now I just save this one and run it. So here you can't see anything, but if you go to the folder, you can see result folder file is created. This one is not there previously. When I open this, what I can see? So you can see, I can see the name and the average. Nimal average, Kamal average, Sunil average. They are coming as integer. Why they are coming as integer? Why are they coming as integer? Because I put here, first one is string. Second one is integer. Average is integer. But if I make it for plot, I have to put F here. F is for the plot. then you can see the output will be different. So it's executed, then you can see. Can you see the number is coming to the floating point? Now, the important things here you can see the output is coming at the same line. Output is coming the same line. That is the thing you need to remember, the purpose of the new line character. You can see if I add the new line character here, the output will be different. I add the new line character here. So here I'm adding the new line character. When I add the new line character, see the output. So yeah, you can see now outputs are coming new lines. Earlier it came in the single line. Now it is coming the new line. Why is that? Because here I had used the new line character. New line character is used. Then you can see here I am getting many decimal places. I can minimize that decimal places. You can put here, let's say I want to have only 2 decimal points, you can put the 0.2. When you put the 0.2, that means I get the 2 decimal places. See, you get the output with the 2 decimal places like that. So then you can see that is the purpose of the new line character. New line character. Here, this is the new line character. Here, this L0 means the name because here you create the list. You create the list. You take the first character, this one, list. When you get the list, L0 means this one. L1 means this one. L2 means this. L3 means this. You calculate them into integer. Now, in the exam, you have to be very careful because in the exam, now when you look at this, you may think this is integer. Integer. However, remember the output will not be integer because here we have the f. F means float. You need to understand the output is float. And again, you need to understand what is the purpose of this line. Purpose of this line. This line is to write the output in the new lines. New lines. So that is how you can do the reading and writing to the files. I will take one exam question for you to so this is a very easy question, you can see. So this is 2013 A level. Which of the following is a valid Python statement that can be used to open a file called output.txt so that new data can be added to the end of the file without deleting the original data? Then you need to understand we need to use which one, open system call must be used. So you can see this is wrong. This is not how you open the file. This is wrong. And this is also wrong. You need to open the file. You have to open the file, open this okay, this okay, this okay. And you have to open the file. This is for opening text file, this opening text file, opening text file, that is also correct. We are opening this one for reading. We are opening this one for writing. This is for the appending. So which one they are asking? To open the file so that new data can be added. New data can be added means what is it? New data is adding means what is it? Appending. Appending. So the appending means which one? Third one. Third one. Is that clear? This one. Because you are opening the file for appending. Remember, write in the file what happened. The original data will be deleted in the file when you write it. When you write, previous data will be deleted. Appending means data will be added to the tail of the file. That's the difference between the W and the A. Therefore, answer is third one. Now see, this is a question. Can you find the answer? Very carefully read and find the answer. Two 2012. Last year also there was a similar kind of question.
Sir, third one, sir.
So here, what are they doing actually? So they are opening the file. First one of for reading. That is which one? Input.txt. Input.txt means this file. This is the file. This is input.txt. This is a file. So you are opening that file for reading. And they are writing the data to the output.txt. For this file, they are writing the data. F2. F2 means files we are writing to the data. Then we open each file one. The file one means this file will be open. And take each line. Take each line. And each line will be split. Split. When you split, 0th index is a name. Next one is the marks, 1 and 2. So you can take the first one and convert it to plot, take the second one convert it to plot. And first one we write the name. This one is name S. Data 0 means name. And the dash. And the second one is the marks total. Yeah, but this is wrong because it has only the names. Then we write the name and the marks. This has the name and the each mark. That is wrong. And here you can see we have the new line character. New line character means output should be in the new lines. This is wrong. They have to decide the answer, this one or that one. That is again another point you should understand. Here they are giving this plot to mislead. If his plot is for decimal point. However, they are writing the data, they are writing only the decimal value, not the decimal point is not writing. Only the decimal value. With 4 characters. 4 characters. Therefore, the answer will not come with the decimal point. If your answer will come with the decimal point, if this is F floating point, that is not F, that's a D, that's a decimal. So therefore, floating point is not coming. So the answer is this one. Is that clear?
Sir, can you explain again?
Yeah, here we are reading the file. First file we are reading, opening the file for reading, first one. That means you are opening this file for reading. This one is reading. And then once you open the file, pointer is used to access to this file. And then take each line from the file. And each line will be split. Split. When you split, what happens? You get a list. Get a list. And you get the each component separately. This is the 0th index number. This is the first index number. This is second index number. And first index number means a marks, first mark. Second index number is the second mark. They will be converted into plot and add them together and get the total. Then you add them together, 30 and 60, you get the total. And we are writing the data 0 means the name. Data 0 means name. We are writing the name and the total. Both we are writing. Those, the first one is the name. Data 0 means the name. Second one is the total. That's the two things you are writing. So this one has only the name. That is wrong because total is not there. This one has the names and the marks, not the total. That is wrong. And again, here we have the new line character. New line character means the output should come in the new line. Therefore, this the last one also wrong because last one doesn't come with the new lines. Then you have to find out whether the answer is second one or the third one. The second one, you get the integer values. This one comes with the plot. Now, whenever you see this one plot, you may select this one answer, but that is wrong. Why? That's why you have to be careful in the A-level exam, not like O-level actually. You need to be very careful. So, whenever you see the plot, suddenly you select this one. That is what happened. But that is wrong. That's wrong. Why it is wrong? Because when they are writing to the file, they are not writing as a floating point. If it is writing floating point, it should be F. It should be F. It is not F. Therefore, this will be only the decimal point with the 4 digits. Therefore, 4 digit means 1, 2, 3, spacing in the 4 digits. So that should be the answer. So therefore, answer is second one. Is that clear?